Happy Monday, friends. This week we're going to read another story called The Cow Who Wouldn't Come Down. The story and the pictures are by Paul Brett Johnson. As we look at the cover of the book, I want you to start thinking about, what is this book going to be about? What's going to happen in this story? What genre is this book in? What type of fiction is the book? We know it's fiction because there's a cow on the moon. There's a pig and a goose and an old lady, and it just looks like something that's a fiction story as we look at the cover. But I wonder, what type of fiction story is this? Is it a fairy tale? Is it a fantasy? Is it a folk tale or a fable? Think about what type of story, or what type of fiction story this is. Our vocabulary words that we're going to be focused on learning this week are going to be sternly, ignored, glide, contrary, innovative, and rivals. Okay, those are our 6 vocabulary words that we're going to be focused on this week, friends. So let's start reading our book. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the story first. When Gertrude the cow flies up into the sky, Miss Rosemary has to figure out how to get her cow back down. After several unsuccessful tricks, she made Gertrude think she has found a replacement cow. Gertrude finally comes down, only to end up trying a new trick, driving a tractor. So let's read the story and see all about this Gertrude the cow. Remember, today's Monday, guys, so we're only going to read part of the story today. The Cow Who Wouldn't Come Down. Miss Rosemary knew Gertrude had a mind of her own. Even so, the day that Gertrude took to flying, it put Miss Rosemary in something of a tizzy. This won't do. It just won't do. She fussed and stewed. There's no telling what people might say. Besides, Miss Rosemary hadn't the slightest notion how to milk a flying cow. So we look at Miss Rosemary here washing the dishes, and there goes Gertrude. Look at the people. She's thinking in her mind, what are these people going to say about this cow? Miss Rosemary marched out into the yard. She called sternly, "Gertrude, you will kindly come down this very instant. It's a known fact that cows don't fly." Gertrude cut figure 8s in the sky, pretty as you please, and completely ignored Miss Rosemary. Got 2 of our vocabulary words here. Let's think about what they may mean. We've got sternly. Miss Rosemary marched out into the yard. She called sternly, "Gertrude." And then we have our word ignored. Gertrude cut figure 8s in the sky, pretty as you please, and completely ignored Miss Rosemary. So we've found 2 of our vocabulary words so far. Miss Rosemary tried again. "Gertrude! Oh, Gertrude! It's time to come down now. Here's a fresh bale of sweet alfalfa. You love alfalfa." Gertrude took a nosedive, caught an updraft, and sailed into a lazy glide. She did not, however, come down. Glide. Got another word here, glide. Gertrude's just flying through the sky. Poor Miss Rosemary. It was plain to see she was getting nowhere. She pulled her chin and knitted her brow. Somehow she must bring that silly, contrary cow down. Miss Rosemary hurried to the shed and sorted through her fishing gear. She chose a sturdy rod and returned to the yard. When Gertrude made an especially low swoop, Miss Rosemary drew back and let go. Her fishing line became entangled in some overhead branches. She missed Gertrude entirely. So another word we have here, friends, is contrary. Contrary. Let's just be thinking about what these words mean as we find them. Gertrude perched in a tree and tried to sound like a bird. Merp, merp. Oh, Gertrude, do hush, Miss Rosemary grumbled. It's a known fact that cows don't merp. They moo. Miss Rosemary had another idea. She found a long rope, made a lasso, and climbed to the attic chairs. To the attic stairs, sorry. She crouched by the window, breathless, and waited. What do you think she's going to try to do here? So let's stop there and think about what is Miss Rosemary going to try to do. Let's take a moment to think about that before I turn the page. Oh boy. Finally, Gertrude whizzed by and Miss Rosemary hurled the lasso. All she captured was a noose full of air. Gertrude, you are the limit! She fumed and stomped her feet. Miss Rosemary was not about to give up. However, she climbed very cautiously out the window and onto the roof. Inch by inch, she crawled upward. She planned to sit at the top and wait. Sooner or later, Gertrude would fly by again. Then she would grab hold of Gertrude's tail. Oh my goodness. Just as she neared the crest of the roof, Miss Rosemary felt herself slipping. She grabbed for the chimney but missed it. Down, down, down she slid. Down, down, down Miss Gertrude slid. When she hit the gutter, Miss Rosemary bounced. Whoosh! Her dress billowed like a parachute as she sailed through the air and landed in a mass of trumpet vine. That crack-brained cow will put me in an early grave, Miss Rosemary moaned as she untangled herself. Oh, Miss Rosemary. So friends, we're going to stop reading there for today, and we will start reading this story again on tomorrow. As we end for today, I want you guys to be thinking about Miss Rosemary, the character. Miss Rosemary, what are her external traits? What are her internal traits? That's what we've been learning about this past week. What's the settings in this story? Think about what the setting of the story is. Any questions you may have from the story. So be practicing your good reader skills and be thinking about the vocabulary words that we've seen so far, which have been ignored, sternly, glide, and contrary. So let's think about those words, and we'll pick this back up and finish our story of the cow who wouldn't come down on tomorrow.